Grope me gently, airport security guard. Run your firm hands along my thigh.
Mark Steyn, honoured to be here. No supporting paperwork whatsoever, but I have been subject to at least 3 enhanced pat-downs already today. The guy at the airport pulled me out of line to pat me down, and you know, I wasn't really in the mood, and he said, would it help if you closed your eyes and fantasized about other TSA agents? I'm from the Foreign Exchange Student Wing of the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies. It's a great program. Guys like me get to come and study here, and 6,000 TSA agents receive intensive instruction in enhanced pat-down techniques from highly trained 14-year-old girls at the Seventh Heaven Massage Parlour in Bangkok. So it's a terrific system. I'm so sick of this pat-down business. The TSA guy tells me to raise my arms above my head. He runs his hands down my back. I give an involuntary shudder. So he spreads my legs and slips his hand under my inner thigh, moves around behind me, and then pats my bottom a dozen times. Great to be with you. Great to be with you. Wherever you are in the land of the free and the home of the grope. Give me liberty or give me an enhanced pat-down. The Bipartisan Debt Commission has already factored in the $2 trillion reduction in Obamacare costs by allowing TSA agents to perform prostate examinations. If you're 17 and flying to Florida for spring break, you might not think you need a prostate exam, but the best prevention is early screening. So, ladies and gentlemen, the terrorists have won. The terrorists have won. The government of the United States cannot get confessed jihadist murderer Ahmed Ghailani convicted on any of the 224 murders he was charged with, because they decided to shower young Ahmed with all the protections of the civilian justice system. But the very self-same government of the United States has decreed that your private parts and those of your children and your grandmother, that all 300 million sets of American genitalia are up for grabs without any probable cause. God forbid you use enhanced pat-down techniques on any Gitmo detainees. You'd never hear the end of it from Amnesty International, but you can use them on 3-year-old girls and octogenarian nuns. Ahmed Ghailani has been found guilty of one sole charge of conspiring to blow up the embassy buildings in Africa, but not guilty of murdering all the people inside them. How does that even work? What's the logic there? If I blow up the Empire State Building, I'll get convicted of vandalism and failure to apply for a demolition permit, but the thousands of corpses are just an unforeseen consequence. Ahmed Ghailani was born in Zanzibar. He was captured in an 8-hour firefight with Pakistani forces in Gujarat. He is not a citizen of the United States. He is not a resident of the United States. He is not what federal law calls a, quote, U.S. person. He has no connection with the city of New York. He has no reason to be in a New York courtroom, except that the Attorney General of the United States, Eric Holder, decided to put him there and turn him from an enemy combatant into OJ. This is decadence. This is decadence. And people say this is a huge humiliation and a huge defeat for Obama and Eric Holder. They don't see it this way. They think this whole stupid war on terror is a Bush-era joke. They don't care about it. They don't care. If it hadn't been for the peculiar nature of the jury that decided you can apparently conspire to blow up a building without conspiring to kill all the people who happen to be inside it at the time you've decided to blow it up, if it weren't for the ludicrousness of that particular verdict, this guy would have walked. This guy would have been standing on the steps of the courthouse like Frank Sinatra at the end of Robin and the Seven Hoods, singing "My Kind of Town Manhattan Is." This is decadence. This is decadence, and pat-downs are the death of the republic. Because we only have pat-downs because we're not allowed to profile people like Ahmed Ghailani. Profiling, has become one of these words, these bad words. It's almost like racist now. Oh, you're profiling. Ooh. You know, profiling is what we used to call good policing. That's what they do in all the old cop shows. Us foreigners grew up on the American cop shows, and they're all about profiling. That's every cop show. Every detective novel is about profiling. The Naked City. There are 8 million stories in the Naked City. This has been one of them. And now you're not allowed to narrow it down to find out which particular subsection of the 8 million it might mean. You know, these men trying to blow up American Airlines. They range from young Muslim men called Mohammed with an O and a double M who've studied in Pakistan, to young Muslim men called Muhammad with a U and a single M who've studied in Yemen. So there's no obvious pattern here. No obvious pattern. We've got nothing to go on. There are no leads. So we'd better just pull in everybody. We'll pull in a southern redneck, a Belgian businessman, an Amish elder, an Inuit kindergartner, 3 guys from the Elks Lodge in Pocatello, and a couple of lesbian newlyweds from Massachusetts. There are 8 million stories in the Naked City, and we intend to hear all of them. No sense narrowing it down at all. The terrorists have won. The terrorists have won. There are 8 million penises in the Naked Airport. Yours has been one of them. And by the way, say what you like about George III, but he wouldn't have been all over your wedding tax. Queen Victoria offering advice to her daughter. I think, I forget who, was it Princess Louise? I forget which one it was now. Queen Victoria offering advice to her daughter. Lie back and think of England. Janet Incompetano's advice to you, bend down and think of America. The terrorists have won. They don't need to blow anything up. The shoe bomber flopped, but we'll be taking our shoes off till we die. The Heathrow bombers flopped, but we'll be measuring our liquids and gels to the nearest 1/10 of an ounce till the end of time. The panty bomber flopped, but Janet Incompetano has moved into your gusset and she's never getting out. The new federal agent, the G-man, G for grope, licensed to feel. There's anything that should be left to the private sector, it's groping. I'm in New York. I'm in New York City today. I could get an enhanced pat-down in Times Square for $40 tops. It would be cheaper. And by the way, I'm not picky about it. I'm saying if you are picky, if you're like Elliot Spitzer, it would be cheaper to outsource the enhanced pat-down to Elliot Spitzer's hooker than to get a vast federal bureaucracy patting down everybody in the United States. This is the death of the Republic. If you can inspect the genitalia of 300 million Americans without probable cause for no other reason than that it's politically incorrect to narrow it down, then this is the death of the Republic. This is how it dies. Not with a bang, but with a whimper, as the TSA agent squeezes just a little too tightly while he's down there. By the way, our best chance of getting out of this enhanced pat-down will come, of course, from CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, who've said that it's grossly disrespectful to to pat down Muslim women. With Muslim women, you're not allowed to look at anything other than whatever a bit is peeking out of the burqa or the niqab or the hijab. You're not allowed to get your hands under the burqa, under the niqab, and start seeing what the Islamobabes are like underneath the burqa. You can't do that. CARE is furious about that, and they're saying, and so the Department of Homeland Security says, well, maybe there'll be an exemption for Muslim women. By the way, don't think that is so ridiculous it can't possibly happen. A wanted terrorist in the United Kingdom escaped by flying out of the country wearing his sister's burqa. An Englishman visiting Canada was waiting for the Montreal-London flight just a couple of months ago and filmed on his little cell phone camera the security guys demanding that the burqa-clad woman remove her head garb so they could identify her. Her male relatives clustered around her and objected, and eventually this woman got waved onto the plane without having even to see whether she was the person marked on the ticket. So the idea that Muslim women would be entirely exempt from this, but you will be having your penis held by federal bureaucrats until the end of time. That scenario is not as unlikely as it may sound.